2,000 years ago, in this ancient city of Jerusalem, a small group of people started to claim that a man who once was dead was alive again. As Christians all around the world celebrate Easter Day, what really happened that first resurrection morning? And why did the events change the course of history? Well, for a very special edition of Songs of Praise, I've come to the Holy Land to find out. So let's step back in time to discover more about those people who witnessed the first Easter. I'll be performing one of my favourite songs in a church dedicated to Jesus' disciple Peter, and we've some great Easter hymns from the old city of Jerusalem, including the rousing Thine Be the Glory. Throughout the year, tens of thousands of pilgrims from all over the world travel to this holy site. It's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in the Old City in Jerusalem. For many people, it's the place where Jesus was buried and rose from the dead. The Catholic, Orthodox and Armenian communities are joint custodians of the building, and each celebrates Easter in their own way. Just outside the old city walls is another place of pilgrimage. Many Christians choose to come here, the Garden Tomb as it's known. It's maybe a place where it's easier to imagine what it might have been like that first Easter day.
The very first words that the angel spoke to the women as they stood before the empty tomb were these: "Do not be afraid." And as they hurried from the...
We've read about it for many, many years, and now we're here. It's made it all come that little bit more real and a bit more active in our hearts. It's absolutely great. I'm speechless, almost speechless.
The Lord is risen. The Lord is risen indeed. Hallelujah.
This is the pivotal point of our Christian experience, so we've got to tell others that he's not dead, he's alive.
For our own celebration, Songs of Praise has come to Christ Church in Jerusalem's Old City, home to both an English and Hebrew-speaking congregation, to sing some triumphant Easter hymns. And we begin with a wonderful one based on words written by John of Damascus in the 8th century. It reminds us that the first ever Easter was actually at Passover, which is one of the most important festivals in the Jewish calendar. So what happened here 2,000 years ago? What did those first witnesses experience? And how were people like Thomas, Peter and Cleopas changed by meeting the risen Jesus?
Mary Magdalene was one of the most important women followers of Jesus, who accompanied him from his ministry in the Galilee to his passion in Jerusalem. She was the first witness at the empty tomb and also the first one to encounter him after his resurrection. When we think about Mary Magdalene being the first to see Jesus, this is both something beautiful but something challenging for the early church.
Women were marginalized in the first century. Even their testimony was not even accepted at court. Some of the Jewish prayers even would say, God, I thank you for creating me a male, not a female.
Now, after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week began to dawn, Mary Magdalene came to see the tomb.
Finding it empty, she wept. And when she saw a man standing nearby, she didn't recognize it was Jesus and thought he was the gardener who tended the grounds nearby.
I think one of the most beautiful aspects is that when he says her name, Mary, she recognizes him.
Jesus said to her, Mary. She turned and said to him,
Rabboni!
which is to say, teacher.
We remember that in the Gospel of John, he says, my sheep know my voice, and I call my sheep by name. And it's as though in that split second we see at work that very individual relationship that Jesus has with each one of his sheep.
In the grounds of the garden tomb in Jerusalem, Christians can reflect on that encounter between Mary Magdalene and Jesus. Dutch-born singer Riki Neeb now looks after the beautiful grounds.
You're not consciously thinking every day, oh, I'm the gardener in the garden tomb. But while working in the flower beds, of course, all these groups of tourists pass by, all the visitors, and sometimes they say, do you realize what an amazing job you have here? And I think, yeah, you're right. I have an amazing job.
You're going to be singing for us. Tell us a bit about the piece of music that you've chosen.
Actually, it is Mary that meets Jesus early in the morning when she's very sad. And then all of a sudden she sees this man in the garden. And so it's about that story, actually, that I'm going to sing.